Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Islamic Library. Today, I come to you with a new book. This was quite an interesting read, and I quite enjoyed it myself. This is called Tawakkul: How to Stop Overthinking and Let Go Through Faith in Allah's Perfect Plan, with hadiths and inspirational short stories from the Quran. The title is long. It is under Sakina Press. There isn't a name of an author. I quite enjoyed reading this book because it was written in very simple language. Uh, Sometimes, in the matter of deen, it is really nice to read a book that is of a simpler language than the complicated prose or the extensive vocabulary that certain writers use. This was very nice, very simple. I tell you that I've actually highlighted quite numerous parts of this book so that I can go back to and put it in a notebook or something. It is worth stopping and thinking and contemplating over. I I would recommend this book to be in your library. And as usual, what I will do is I will read the synapse of this book, the introduction, and part of chapter one, if it's a long chapter, or just, the whole thing if it's a shorter chapter. And hopefully, inshallah, you will see the very nice beauty of this book. I honestly enjoyed it. This is really one of the books that I would probably go back to read a few times to grasp the various concepts, the various insights, and observations and reflections towards tawakkul. So I hope that I'll be able to show you a glimpse of this book and you choose to pick up this book. It is available on Kindle. That's where I've been reading it. I am sure you're going to be able to find it even if it's a hard copy. I've not tried. I found it on Kindle and I enjoyed reading it. It was really nice. And I just, like I said, highlighted quite a handful of parts from this book. So I'll start with the synapse. What if peace wasn't something you had to choose, but something that arrives the moment you stop trying to control everything? Tawakkul is more than trust. It's the sacred art of surrendering your heart to Allah while still walking your path with intention. It's the balance between doing your best and knowing that every outcome rests in the hands of Al Wakil, the one who takes care of all affairs. In this book, you will discover how to stop overthinking and find peace in the divine trust. Let go of control and embrace the wisdom of Allah's timing. Strengthen your faith through patience, prayer, and reflection. Reconnect with Sakina, the deep inner stillness that follows true surrender. Learn from the stories of Maryam, Musa, Yusuf, Ayub, and the Prophet ﷺ, each a timeless lesson in trust and divine reliance. Through gentle reflections, Quranic stories, and practical exercises, Tawakkul guides you through a journey of healing the restless mind, transforming fear into dua, anxiety into faith, and uncertainty to calm. From understanding the illusion of control to practicing the art of letting go, this book is a companion for every believer who longs to feel safe in the unknown and find serenity in Allah's perfect plan. Inside, you'll explore the true meaning of tawakkul and how it differs from passivity, how to overcome the burden of self-reliance and constant worry, the connection between tawakkul, sabr, just patience, and sakina, divine tranquility. Practical dhikr routines, journaling, prompts, and exercises for daily trust. The beauty of living with a heart anchored in faith, calm, grateful, and resilient. Whoever puts their trust in Allah, He is sufficient for them. Quran 65:3. Let this book be a reminder that letting go is not losing control, it's allowing the one who loves you most to guide your steps. So, like I said, this is the synapse. We can go and read the introduction of the book. Introduction. Returning to trust. In the quiet moments of our lives when the noise of the world fades, many of us notice a strange restlessness in our hearts. Thoughts race like uninvited guests. Fears whisper their persistent warnings, and the illusion of control seems to clutch us tightly. We plan, we organize, we analyze, yet our minds rarely find peace. We wonder if there will be enough time, enough resources, enough safety, and even if all appears to be in order, a subtle anxiety lingers, reminding us of our vulnerability. This, it seems, has become the modern human condition, a life caught between ceaseless thinking and a deep yearning for tranquility. The reality of our mental turbulence is, in many ways, a reflection of our disconnection from the source of peace. We live in an era of constant stimulation, news alerts, social media updates, endless comparisons, and pressure to predict and prepare for every possible outcome. While knowledge and preparation are valuable, they are often misapplied when they cross the boundary into overthinking, worry, and a false sense of control. We imagine that if we can just think harder, plan better, or hold on tighter, we might finally secure our lives against uncertainty. Yet, as many have discovered, no amount of human effort can guarantee our desired outcomes. In its essence, life is unpredictable, and if met without guidance, this unpredictability can cultivate anxiety, fear, and despair. It is here in the struggle between human limitation and divine decree that the beauty and wisdom of tawakkul emerge. Often loosely translated as trust in Allah, tawakkul is both a simple and profound concept. Many recognize it in the name, yet few understand its depth or practice it fully. It is not merely a passive resignation to fate, nor is it an excuse to neglect personal effort. Tawakkul is a deliberate, conscious act of the heart and mind. It is trusting Allah completely while engaging fully with the means He has placed in our hands. It is the spiritual art of surrender, but a surrender rooted in wisdom, awareness, and action. In the Quran, Allah reminds us, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Quran 65:3. These words are not simply a comfort for the believer, they are an invitation to a new way of living a life in which the mind finds rest, the heart feels secure, and the soul experiences the serenity that only comes from complete reliance on its Creator. To live with tawakkul is to recognize the boundaries of human control and to place ultimate trust in the one whose knowledge and power encompasses all things. It is an acknowledgement that while we may act, strive, and plan, the outcome is not ours to dictate. When internalized and practiced, this understanding transforms the restlessness of our hearts into a profound calm. Yet, in our contemporary world, the practice of tawakkul has been largely forgotten. Many of us have grown up under the illusion that control is within our grasp, that by calculating and planning, we can secure a predictable life. While planning and preparation are encouraged in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Tie your camel and trust in Allah." We often forget the second part of this instruction, to truly trust in Allah after doing what we can. We tie our camels, yet we cling to them as if their safety were ours to guarantee. In doing so, we neglect the divine wisdom that calls us to balance effort with surrender. This book, Returning to Trust, seeks to guide you back to that forgotten path of peace. It is not merely a theoretical exploration of tawakkul, it is a practical, actionable manual for those who seek to live with inner calm in a world that constantly tests our patience and peace. Throughout these pages, we will explore the principles of tawakkul, the challenges that prevent us from practicing it fully, and the exercises and reflections that can help us embody it in our daily lives. You will find spiritual guidance rooted in the Quran and Hadith, stories of the prophets and righteous believers, and practical techniques to quiet the mind, release the need for control, and cultivate contentment with Allah's decree. This book's purpose is threefold. First, it is to help you understand the nature of the struggle itself, endless thoughts, the compulsive need to control, and fear of the unknown that lies beneath much of our anxiety. Recognizing the patterns of the restless mind is the first step towards freeing it. Second, this book will provide a framework for living with active, conscious trust in Allah. Tawakkul is not a one time decision or a fleeting feeling. It is a lifelong practice that requires mindfulness, effort, and sincerity. Third, the book offers practical exercises, reflections, and reminders that make tawakkul tangible, something you can experience in your everyday life. Not just admire in theory, by integrating spiritual principles with actionable steps, this book aims to transform the way you approach challenges, uncertainties, and daily anxieties. To illustrate the principle of tawakkul, think of a traveler in a desert. The traveler must carry provisions, water, and maps, and yet, even with all preparation, the desert remains unpredictable. Sandstorms, sandstorms may arise, paths may shift, and dangers may lurk. The traveler cannot control these external realities, but he can act with wisdom and faith, pack provisions diligently, choose the safest path, and trust in the guide who knows the desert fully. In life, Allah is the ultimate guide, and tawakkul is the trust that allows the traveler to continue the journey with courage, patience, and inner calm, despite the unknowns that lie ahead. Modern life presents many such deserts that feel uncertain, relationships that test our patience, health challenges that demand resilience, and global events that disrupt our sense of safety. Overthinking, anxiety, and fear often arise from the illusion that we can or should control these outcomes entirely. By cultivating tawakkul, we learn to redirect our energy. We act where we are able, we prepare where we must, and we release the rest to Allah. This does not mean abandoning responsibility or becoming passive. Rather, it is the conscious recognition that ultimate control and wisdom belong to Allah alone. The heart that trusts finds peace even in uncertainty, and the mind that surrenders finds clarity amidst chaos. Throughout this book, you will encounter practical exercises designed to help you shift from overthinking to mindful action and surrender. You will be guided to distinguish between what is within your power and what must be entrusted to Allah. You will learn how to quiet the mental noise through remembrance, dhikr, and reflection, how to cultivate contentment, rida, even when outcomes differ from your desires, and how to live fully in the present without fear of the unknown future. Stories from the Quran and the lives of the prophets will illustrate these principles, showing that every believer has faced uncertainty and yet emerged stronger through trust in Allah. Returning to trust is not a one time act, it is a journey, often requiring patience and repeated effort. The human mind is naturally inclined to plan, worry, and control, but the heart can be trained to surrender, the soul can learn to rest, and the believer can cultivate serenity even amidst trials. This book is a companion on that journey, a guide to help you recognize the patterns of overthinking, Embrace the wisdom of tawakkul and experience the peace that comes from active, conscious trust in Allah. As you read these pages, I encourage you to approach them with an open heart. Reflect, journal, pray, and practice. Do not rush the process, for tawakkul is learned as much through lived experience as through study. Each chapter offers guidance, stories, and exercises to help you internalize the principles of trust, surrender, and reliance on Allah. Let the words inspire action, but also let them invite quiet contemplation, the type of stillness in which the soul truly recognizes that Allah is sufficient for every need. Ultimately, this book is an invitation to step away from the restless tide of overthinking, to release the illusion of total control, and to return to the timeless path of trust in Allah. It is a call to remember that while life may present uncertainties, the one who holds the universe in his hands is also the one who holds your heart, your future, and your peace. By returning to trust, we do not abandon responsibility, but we embrace freedom from fear, anxiety, and the exhausting illusion that we are the ultimate masters of our fate. May Allah make this book a means of guidance, reflection, and inner peace for every reader. May it remind us that surrender, far from being weakness, is the highest form of strength, that letting go, far from being passive, is the most active declaration of faith, and that true reliance on Allah brings a serenity that the mind alone can never achieve. So rely upon Allah, indeed you are upon the clear truth. Quran 27:79. With this understanding, we begin a journey back to trust, peace, and the heart's natural state of surrender in Allah's love and wisdom. Now, seeing that this introduction is quite long, I think it would be good to just take part of chapter 1 and not the whole thing. I will probably read just 2 or 3 pages from chapter 1 because the introduction was quite sufficient to give the listener a feel of what this book is about. So I'll just go into chapter 1 with a few pages just so that you can get a feel for it, and inshallah you will find benefit in it if you choose to pick it up. Like I said, I highly recommend this book. This is a really, really good and practical book to use. So on to chapter 1. Chapter 1. Understanding Tawakkul, the heart's surrender. In the rush of our modern lives, the heart often wrestles with doubt, worry, and a constant desire to control every outcome. From career choices to relationships, health concerns to financial decisions, we tirelessly strive to shape the future according to our wishes. Yet, despite all our planning, uncertainty remains a persistent companion. It is in this space between human effort and life's unpredictability that the concept of tawakkul becomes most relevant. Tawakkul, an Arabic word derived from the root wakala, is commonly translated as trust in Allah or reliance upon Allah. But its depth goes far beyond a simple mental affirmation. It is not a passive resignation to fate, nor a careless surrender to circumstance. True tawakkul is a dynamic balance. It combines effort, responsibility, and purposeful action with a profound and unwavering trust that Allah alone ultimately manages the outcomes. Defining tawakkul, linguistic and spiritual meanings. Linguistically, tawakkul refers to placing one's affairs in someone else's care while relying on their ability and wisdom. In human terms, we might trust a skilled doctor with our health, a capable pilot with our journey, or a financial advisor with our investments. Similarly, tawakkul is placing one's life, hopes, and efforts in Allah's care, acknowledging His wisdom, acknowledge and control over all affairs. Spiritually, tawakkul is the conscious surrender of the heart to Allah's plan. It is the recognition that while we may act, strive, and plan, the ultimate outcome rests with Him. The Quran beautifully emphasizes this. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Quran 65:3. This verse is not merely a promise, it is an invitation to release the burden of trying to control every outcome, trusting that Allah's wisdom surpasses our understanding. Tawakkul is not about abandoning effort, it is about aligning effort with faith, doing all that we can, and leaving the results to Allah's perfect decree. I will end the reading from this book here. I think this is sufficient material to help you decide if you want to pick up this book. Give it a try, read it, use it. I do apologize for any mistakes in pronunciations or reading in between. I am doing this in one shot. This is not edited. This is not professionally recorded. This is just in the style of a podcast. And so I was reading this loud for the first time loudly because, when you read a book, you usually read it in your mind. So I do apologize for any mistakes or stumbles that I had while reading. And inshallah, you will find this episode, this readings, and this book beneficial to you. May it add to your journey in seeking knowledge. May it add its benefits to your learning and striving to be better as a Muslim. And until the next episode, I will see you then with another book. I will leave you in Allah's protection and guidance. Assalamu alaikum.